Meet your service goals with SLAs and entitlements for service managers. This ebook is part of the Microsoft Training and Adoption Kit available on the CRM Help website. Hi, I'm Steve No. I'm an experienced software consultant, the last 10 years using Microsoft Dynamics CRM, designing solutions, implementing them, and training CRM teams. We offer dynamic CRM consulting, development, team mentoring, and training. We also use our dynamic CRM training materials as a basis to develop customized end-user training materials and video based upon your processes and customizations. I hope you enjoyed this material. Give your service team the right information at the right time. In Microsoft Dynamics CRM, service level agreements, SLAs, and entitlements help you clearly define the service levels and terms for your customers. Then, when the service reps are working with a customer, they can see right away what type of service that customer is eligible for, and they can ensure that the customers get the best possible service. Measure how your team is doing. SLAs let you clearly define various metrics, also known as key performance indicators or KPIs, to measure the performance of your service team. For example, you can set conditions to have your service reps resolve high priority cases for premium customers within 1 day and resolve cases with normal priority in 3 days. To help service reps monitor how they're doing as they work on their cases, you can define what actions to take when a deadline for KPIs is nearing, called warning actions, or when a service rep doesn't meet the goal, called failure actions. Help your team resolve cases on time. While they work with a customer, service reps can see at a glance if the customer is entitled to support for the product or service they purchased. With SLAs and a countdown timer, service reps can see how much time they have to resolve their cases and know which ones to tackle first. Pause the KPI countdown. When your service reps are waiting for information, give them a way to stop the SLA clock. Do this by setting up the SLA to pause when cases are set on specific statuses like on hold or waiting for details. You can define these statuses in Settings, Service Management, Service Configuration Settings. This way, whenever the case is set to one of the on hold statuses, the SLA timer stops temporarily. Define the amount of support allowed based upon what a customer buys. Based upon what your customers purchase, you can create entitlements to define how much support your customers are eligible for. When the customer calls, the service rep sees if the customer is eligible for support and if the customer has any support left, whether the channel, for example, email or phone call, the customer used to contact the service team is supported under that entitlement. And because your service reps know when the entitlements are running out, you may be able to improve service revenue by training service reps to let your customers know when it's time to renew. Speed up customer service with default entitlements. In the latest version of CRM Online, service teams can set up an entitlement as the default entitlement for a customer. When an agent creates a case, the default entitlement is automatically associated with that case, saving time for the agent. In cases where entitlement terms are incorrectly deducted, a faulty part is installed, for example, service agents can also credit back entitlement terms so the customer is not charged. So let's take a look at an example. Contoso, a consumer electronics company, sells 3D printers. Using entitlements, they offer amounts of support like this. Premium customers who buy 3 printers are eligible for 200 cases per month. Cases can come from phone calls, email, Facebook posts, and Twitter. Standard customers who buy 1 printer are eligible for 100 cases per month. 50 of these cases can come from phone calls and 50 from email. None can come from social media sources. As they handle cases, Contoso service reps see immediately if they're working with a premium or standard customer, where the case came from, and how many cases are left. You can track your team's progress on the dashboard. You can keep track of how your service team is doing by taking a look at your dashboard, which include charts and graphs that give you a quick snapshot of key performance metrics. You can keep tabs on things like how many active cases your team is working on and how they're doing meeting their service goals. To get to this dashboard, from the nav bar, go to Service, then Dashboards. See how many cases are running out of time. Here's an example of a chart that shows you how many cases are getting close to their SLA deadline. You can also see how many cases were resolved on time, how many your agents are working on, and for how many cases the SLA deadline was not met. This chart is called Cases by SLA Status over Week. Know whose entitlements are expiring. You can also keep track of your customers' entitlements on your dashboard. The entitlements expiration chart shows you the number of cases or number of hours of support remaining for a customer. Use it to get an idea about the customer whose entitlements are expiring so that you can get in touch with them to renew their entitlements. How to set up an SLA. So after this, you're probably ready to set up your own SLA. So let's take a look at an example. Go to SLAs. You'll find SLAs under Settings in the Service Management area. If your screen looks like this, the latest version, on the nav bar, choose Settings, go to Service Management, and then choose Service Level Agreements. If your screen looks like this, older versions of CRM, choose Microsoft Dynamics CRM, Settings, Service Management, and then choose Service Level Agreements. Creating a new SLA. First, you'll create a new SLA. Choose New. After the screen is presented, fill in some details about the SLA. Here's a couple of tips. In the Applicable From field, select the event that triggers the start time for the SLA metrics. You can choose to begin measuring from the time a case is created, the last time it was changed, when it was resolved, or when it was escalated. You should also use the Business Hours field to ensure that the correct hours are considered for calculating SLA timelines. In the SLA Type field, select Enhanced so that you can set up the SLA to pause based upon certain case statuses. After you've done adding all the details, click Save at the top of the screen. Now you want to add the KPIs you want to measure. You can track your service levels based upon the key performance indicators like case resolution time, follow-up time, and time allocated to first respond to the customer. Click the Add button here to add the KPIs. You need to choose which KPI you want to use to evaluate SLA success. In this example, we'll select Resolve by KPI to track if cases are being resolved in a timely manner. And now we'll set which types of cases the SLA applies to. Next, you want to add conditions if you want to apply this SLA to only certain types of cases. This is a filter. So in this example, we'll apply the SLA to premium or corporate customers where the case priority is high. So we're using the Advanced Find tool to build our filter. For more on the Advanced Find tool, see other videos on our site. You can add more than one condition, and you can group with or if you want an SLA to apply when at least one of the conditions is met, and you can group with and if you want the SLA to apply when all conditions are met. So in this particular example, we're looking for either a premium or a corporate and the case priority equals high. Set the goal of the SLA. Next, you need to determine the end goal you want your service reps to achieve. In our example, the end goal is that the cases are resolved on time. So here is our success criteria. You may also want to do some actions when the success criteria is met. For example, send an email to your service team when they meet the resolution goals on time. To do this, add a success action. In this particular example, we'll send an email and we'll create a message and allow that email to be sent. Set how much time service reps have to meet the KPI. So we'll define the SLA item failure. Failure after 1 day. You can set the amount of time in minutes, hours, or days. Then you want to define what happens if the SLA goal isn't met. That's the failure actions. You want to send email to stakeholders, update some case properties automatically, or assign the case to another queue. In our example, we'll send an email, for instance, to the manager. Let the service reps know when they're running out of time. In our example, we'll send a warning to the service rep 4 hours after the countdown starts. So we'll warn after 4 hours. We'll specify that this is 4 hours after case creation. And then we want to choose what happens next. You can choose actions like sending an email to the service rep, change some case properties automatically, like setting the SLA status to nearing non-compliance. But in our example, we'll just send an email. So again, we can go in and create a new message, build the message, and save it. And that will cause the email to be sent on these conditions. Activate the SLA. When you've finished setting up the SLA and you're ready, click Activate so that the SLA calculations start on the applicable cases. You can choose Set as Default if you want to set the SLA as the default for your organization. How to set up an entitlement. Now that your SLA is in place, let's see how to set up an entitlement. Go to Entitlements. You'll find Entitlements under Settings in the Service Management area. So again, if your screen looks like this, the latest version, you choose Settings, go to Service Management, and then choose Entitlements. If your screen looks like the older version, then you go to Microsoft Dynamics CRM, Settings, Service Management, and then choose Entitlements. Create a new entitlement. The first thing we want to do is click the New button, or we can click on a name in the list to edit an existing one. We'll go ahead and click New, and we'll be presented with the new entitlement form. Here's a couple of tips. We want to use the Start Date and End Date field to select when this entitlement is valid. You can restrict service reps from creating cases for this customer if the customer's entitlement terms are over. If you want to offer a specific level of service to the customer, select the SLA to use. Otherwise, the default SLA will apply. So we've created an entitlement. This one is going to be called Premium. The primary customer is Lucerne Publishing. It's valid from these dates. We do want to restrict based upon entitlement terms. We're tying it into the SLA that we created earlier. And then finally, it will have an owner. Generally, that's the person who creates the entitlement. Next, let's track the amount of support to give. So after you fill in the basic details, define the total amount of support you'd like to offer to the customer. Choose how you want to calculate the amount of support based upon the number of cases or the number of hours. Next, we want to choose whether the terms decrease when the case for the customer is created or when the case is resolved. Finally, we want to put in total terms. In this particular example, our customer is allowed 200 cases and there are 200 cases remaining. Add channels that you'll provide support for. Emails, phone, Facebook, and Twitter are considered channels or sources for support cases. Choose the Add button to add all the channels you want to offer support for, along with the amount. Here's a list with email of total terms 70, phone total terms 70, Facebook 30, and Twitter 30. If you want them to be able to support all of their requests through any channel, you simply put in the total number of terms for the entitlement in each one of these. Select products and contacts entitled to receive support. If you want to offer support only for certain products, then add them. You can choose which customer contacts are entitled to receive support if only certain people are allowed. So first you go to the product section and click the Add button to find and select the product that you want to insert here. If you want to insert contacts, you do it down here the same way. If you don't want to select a product or a contact, the entitlement applies to all the customer's products and contacts. Finally, we want to activate the entitlement. So when you're ready, click the Activate button. Set as default entitlement. If you're on the latest version of CRM Online, after you activate the entitlement, you can set it as the default entitlement for this customer. What your service reps see. When a service rep creates a case for the customer, they can see all the entitlements that the customer has. If they choose a specific entitlement, the SLA associated with the entitlement is applied. Otherwise, the default SLA is applied. In the Enhanced SLA Details section, service reps can see the KPIs and the number of days and time they have to meet each KPI. If a service rep changes a case status to one of the on-hold statuses, the SLA timer for the case pauses. The countdown resumes when the service rep moves the case to one of the active statuses. In this particular case, you can see that it is paused, so the first response and the resolve in are showing paused. CRM Help and Training. The CRM Help and Training website has lots of great help content, including videos, eBooks, walkthroughs, and customizable training. We have a lot of resources at Business IT Professional as well, so check out our website, our blog, our YouTube videos, Twitter, or email me and let me know if there's something I can help you with. I hope you found this material helpful. Have a great day.